Hi, my name is Sean Carney, and my topic will be on why virality, in my opinion, doesn't matter anymore. We can look at my audience, myself, Ace, we're joined by others in this way. So, starting my topic off, I will be introducing kind of a precursor, a connotation to what the viral video means and what it is. So, looking at it, we can see Charlie Bit My Finger. Now, Charlie Bit My Finger was one of the first viral videos, and it really set into motion what virality really meant in that context. Something created out of nothing that could amount to something. We have Charlie Bit My Finger. It was candid, it was real, and it was what people wanted to see at that point in time. Now, you can see that it kind of, morphed into a trend. Viralness creates trends because other people want to be seen. We had Gave It After the Dentist. We had, studios, asking parents prompt and saying, record your kids, maybe we'll show you on TV, to get viral videos, to, promote themselves. This was a win-win for everybody. And looking at this form, it really birthed what viralness could do for someone on the internet and how it could really help your career. We have other examples like Justin Bieber's, becoming famous like that. We have the examples like Shawn Mendes, examples like Troye Sivan. Looking at one of those examples, we have Fred. Now, Fred was one of the first influencers, somebody that people wanted to, somebody without an expiration date, indefinitely, that they were, a form of entertainment. Now, with Fred, he was an identifiable feature, but one thing that Fred did was that he didn't stay on YouTube for that long. Once he got the, ticket to branch out to long-form media, he took it. And with that, he went on Nickelodeon, had his own show, his own movies, that type of thing. He really didn't wait for his audience to grow old on him. He took his content and he nurtured it and then brought it to mass form. And with Fred, he was given the Fred movie. He was given, spots on iCarly. He was given, spots in media that people could have dreamed about. Now with this example, it was an overnight type of sensation idea. And this overnight sensation idea was furthered in shows like Austin and Ally, that with a viral video, it just needed to be viral. It could be a 15-second clip. People would want to see you, they would want to know you. You would be on Letterman, you would be on Ellen. And Ellen kind of took her own show and she prided off the fact that she could have people come on that were viral and people want to follow up on them, say, I wonder what you're doing. And this birthed the idea of an influencer. Furthering on to that, we can see, I'll show you, YouTube Rewind 2018, because it has a lot of notable figures in here that we want to pay attention to. So just starting off on it, we have people like Mr. Beast, James Charles, PewDiePie, Markiplier. People that created and kind of, grinded to really make YouTube an art. It was a profession, that type of thing. What, spacing off of Fred did and kind of making it a career, people saw that they could have careers based off YouTube. With this type of business model, more people would want to, see it. And YouTube was competitive at this point. It was very easy for someone to, go from nothing to something, because you could be grinding 20K videos a week, that were getting, less than 5K, views, that somehow skyrocketed and, will get millions of views, and, you could beat the same competition as Sponge. This was sort of the case for PewDiePie. Now, the gaming bubble was not really as big, but somehow when PewDiePie did it, it expanded and he became monstrous in his, expansion. We can look at PewDiePie and he kind of started a monopoly over what YouTube was and what it needed to be. With that, he, was not really in the margin. YouTube was competitive. People were within 2 million, subscriber counts from each other. With PewDiePie, he reigned over. He was the first person to get a diamond plaque. He, just skyrocketed and nobody really could touch him. With that monopoly, that made things less interesting in terms of subscriber count. Now, this already sectioned YouTube off a bit because with PewDiePie being such a polarizing figure, he was a gaming figure. He didn't make lifestyle content. He wasn't all around. He wouldn't sell his brand. With that type of thing, it created a bit of division. It'd be like, do you watch YouTube? Do you watch gaming videos? Do you watch beauty content? What type of content do you watch instead of YouTube all being seen within the same bubble? With this, we have the idea of niches. Now, with YouTube niches, people could really tune into what they see. I wouldn't really call this an echo chamber though, because it's not simply something that is not really understandable by someone else. You can still tune into another niche. You just might not be interested in that niche. I do ask for some audience input. Do you guys know a lot of the people in this screen cap?
Yes. Know a lot of them, yes.
Know a lot of them?
Yeah.
Would you say that you like their content more in short form or long form?
Short form. I have very short attention span, very short.
Yeah.
Now, that was a very contemporary answer. Using that just for substance. Looking more so at 2016, so to say. After PewDiePie had his monopoly of sorts, YouTube got a bit uninteresting, I'll say that. The audience were growing up that initially watched them. People that were 18 and 19 were going off and starting their own lives. People that were 13 and 14 were, getting to the point where they needed to start their own lives. There was just a lot of conversation at that point about who was the target audience for these videos, who was the target thing that was happening, that type of thing. With these types of examples of content, we can see more along the lines of Team 10. That's all I'll bring up. Jake Paul really, I believe, is the first example of an echo chamber star, as a lot of people that you'll ask to this day still don't know who Jake Paul is, but he started a bit of a movement on the internet. Now, Jake Paul was the antithesis of an influencer. He wasn't likable, his videos were sporadic, they didn't keep within the same niche, and he was legit in a business model. More people knew the name Team 10 than Jake Paul. Now, viewing this as a whole sector of people together, we could see Jake Paul with all of these other people, and these other people didn't really have names, but in the song, they introduced themselves, they introduced their names, and they sought Team 10 out, almost like a gang that, sought out notoriety. Now, YouTube was known for kind of being fluffy. YouTube was good. It was, generally that was the context. And if YouTubers did get into, beefs and feuds like that, it was quickly, extinguished out by, the YouTube higher-ups. With Jake Paul, he created such a polarizing aspect to the media that people, just wanted to tune in and help YouTube subscriber counts. It's Everyday Bro amassed 293 million views, and it charted on Billboard. It went platinum, and it, ignited another diss track from Rice Gum and Jake Paul's ex-girlfriend, Alyssa Violet. It's Every Night Sis, which charted higher on Billboard and went platinum again. Viewing this, in tandem with each other, we can see that with this view count and with this kind of polarizing view, more people wanted to capitalize off of that. Similar to Charlie Bit My Finger, and how you had babies being kind of little like Muppet and kind of marionetted by their parents. You had people wanting to appeal to these niches. You had people getting into fake beefs with each other. This is where we can kind of see where YouTube started to spark itself with the form of YouTube dramas. So something that is kind of a catching title is Goodbye Sister. With Goodbye Sister, it was a video by Tati directed at James Charles. Both these YouTubers, came up in traditional formats, and they were likable influencers that did likable things. With this form, it was an internet beef, and a lot of internet star players in the beauty community got their kind of started, and they pulled their arrow in. With this, YouTube became more about the drama type of context behind it, because Jake Paul came in with such drama and was greeted with such a, I wouldn't say it's completely positive reaction, but in the end it was positive. Arcing back off of that, we can see YouTube start to have less relevance once pandemic time started to roll around. People have less of a longer attention span because there's so much news changing. Everything is changing. People look at the thing and it's changing. Going off of that, we can run into TikTok and we can see people like Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae, and the aspect of an instant star where people can become who they want it to be within the reach of what they can. So, Charlie D'Amelio made her viral video. It wasn't even her own video. It was her dancing in a video with her friend. Addison Rae's video was a video of her and her mother. What YouTube was at that time, that's what TikTok became. Looking at this though, we can see that this had an expiration date. In 2022, Addison Rae barely uses her TikTok account, and Charlie D'Amelio the same. Most people are not tuned into the idea of a TikTok influencer, but they want to see beefs. They want to see houses, sway house, hype house, that type of thing. Everything that Jake Paul kind of intertexted within YouTube became what TikTok allowed its rules to be. Looking up this now, in conclusion and essentially, we can see that the idea of a viral video became less about cementing a figure and more about exposure. With this exposure, it meant nothing because there was so much exposure happening that the media was just oversaturated. It was a deflated puffer jacket. And when it was deflated, there was no more air into it. As I was saying, and as I was meaning to say, with no air, there's not really a lift off. Traditional forms of media become all that we can. Stars in movies are not the TikTok stars that we're seeing. There are no really TikTok spots within YouTube. There's reality TV shows, but those are seen in the same view of YouTube bread shows, where people don't really watch them. They become flops. Essentially, as I said, virality doesn't really matter anymore. It's easy to gain fame, but it's hard to be famous. Thank you. Let me show my audience members again. Thanks.